Most of us are strangers to the Orthodox Jewish community, with a language and customs few of us know, clustered in enclaves primarily in Brooklyn and upstate New York. And Orthodox schools like these in Brooklyn, called Yeshivas, teach young men, but no women, the Talmud and other religious texts. Rabbi David Zweibel is executive vice president of the powerful Jewish lobby Agudath Israel.
This type of formal training through our rabbinical schools is something which is deemed fundamental by many families and many individuals in our community.
But yeshivas are controversial to some, including these men who attended them, for what they say they don't teach.
We learn only Judaic studies all day long, and I'm talking from early in the morning till the evening, like 7, 8, sometimes 9.
These places have no secular curriculum whatsoever. They teach you about laws of mixing milk and meat. They teach you about the laws of the Sabbath. They teach you about all kinds of Judaic stuff. They have no secular education.
That means no math, no science, no American history. Yet when the New York State budget passed this year and tuition aid to students at public colleges was cut by 10%, the legislature awarded $18 million in the Tuition Assistance Program, or TAP, to undergraduate religious students. The bill was written in such a way to specifically fund the educations of young men attending yeshivas.
There's a logic to it. There's a logic to it, we think, that individuals who are needy and are eligible, and the government wants to help them get a proper higher education, should have the type of choice and discretion to utilize that assistance from governments.
I think whenever the government starts to fund religion, anybody's religion, your own, somebody else's, it's a bad step.
Barry Lynn is director of Americans United for Separation of Church and State.
You know, whenever you find funding of religious groups, particularly at times of budget cuts, you know politics is behind it.
On the TAP program,
video posted on YouTube shows gubernatorial candidate Andrew Cuomo meeting with Orthodox leaders, promising that if then Governor David Paterson couldn't pass TAP funding for yeshivas, that he would try.
if he can't, then I'll make it a priority for me to get it done in my administration.
While Cuomo made it a priority, a key figure in getting the money into the budget was Dean Skelos, the Republican Senate Majority Leader, who represents a heavily Orthodox district in Nassau County. Several reports allege Skelos became a champion for Agudath Israel after the influential lobby agreed to support a Republican candidate to replace Democrat Carl Kruger. Kruger, who represents heavily Orthodox Flatbush, is facing federal corruption charges. A conviction could present an opportunity for Jewish voters to help Senate Republicans to increase their tiny majority. Neither Cuomo nor Skelos' office would respond to requests for an interview.
He's basically saying, hey, listen, you vote for me, you get money. And it's offensive. It's offensive to me, because I have to live my life. I have to be 25 years old, and not having a 5th grade education.
This tiny line item in the state budget now raising questions about political quid pro quo, the line between church and state, and what constitutes an education. This man left his yeshiva and ended up at a CUNY college as a psychology major.
We were talking about, I think it was memory. So we were talking about that, and the book gave an example of where were you when you heard the verdict of O.J. Simpson. So the whole class was talking where they were when they heard the verdict, and I am, who is O.J. Simpson?
I think I've missed out on a lot, and I'm trying to make up. You know, I read a lot, and I watch a lot of PBS.
Since I'm going to a CUNY school right now where they're considering these cuts, or I don't know if they've implemented the cuts, and tuition is going to go up, knowing what's really going on in the yeshivas, where the students over there are not really learning something that they will eventually contribute back to society. If we're talking about getting government funding for it, shouldn't it be something that they would contribute to the general society, like becoming a doctor or something?
In America, we have decided hundreds of years ago that religious groups were going to be having their bills paid by the members of the faith not by the American taxpayers, or in this case, the taxpayers of New York.
Many people view this as giving money, taxpayer money, to religious institutions. How do you respond to that?
Individuals should have the type of choice and discretion to utilize that assistance from government to enroll in the kind of higher ed program that they want to enroll in, that their heart pulls them toward. And if it happens to be a religiously oriented program, divinity school, rabbinic school, whatever it may be, that ought to be accepted as well.